So today I'm going to be talking about my tool belt, 2022 tool belt. Now I talked about this tool belt actually in a video right at the end, I want to say, of about 2020, but then I never actually made a video about it by itself, and people ask about it all the time. So I want to make a good resource about what I use, because I don't use a tool belt that you would find on any window cleaner website, especially like windowcleaner.com. I'm just a little bit different that way, in that I find that some of the belts from like Home Depot or Lowe's, like Husky brand, Cobalt brand, can be really, really good for window cleaning. And for me, it's just all about the adjustable belt. For like wintertime, if I wear a coat, I need a belt that's a little bit more adjustable. And I've never found that the kind of like nylon style belts are very easy to adjust. So it's just something I don't want to waste my time with. So what I've always done is for like the last, I want to say like 5 years, I've pretty much used carpenter style belts. I do like the couple belts that I do like that are the type that I don't usually wear would be the Maker Trident belt, just because it's a high quality belt. And I also like the Mormon tool belt. It's got 3 loops. I used both of those for a long, long time in my career. But I just found that I liked the comfortability of these carpenter belts. They got a little extra padding, and I liked some of the pouches better than what's on the window cleaning market. I find that's a kind of area that really could use some help. So what I always get now is I get this Cobalt belt. I've had this since about mid 2020, and it still lasts me. As you guys know, I don't do as much window cleaning now as I used to because I'm a sales rep. So, but many people ask me about this belt. So what does this belt come with originally? It actually will come with 2 pouches. I don't have the other pouch anymore. It will come with this, the belt, and suspenders. I don't use the suspenders. I just use the belt and this 1 pouch, and that's about it as far as it goes. But you could use the other pouch, and I would suggest, and what I get a lot of flack about sometimes is that my belt looks too heavy. And yes, I would agree with that it's probably a little too heavy. I'm just one that I like to have every single thing on me that I know that I'll need, and I don't want to run back to the truck for it, or van for it. So that is why I put so much stuff in my tool belt. I was once at a job a couple years ago, and it was a physical therapy place, and they made the comment there, like, that's a lot of weight on your hips, and you're probably going to have lower back pain. I have lower back pain. So I think it's due to a lot of things, but that's one thing to think about. If you want to keep your belt light, keep your belt light. There's no really reason to carry all this stuff. You can carry a lot of stuff in your window cleaning bucket if you want. There's a lot of ways to do this. So don't think that my particular way is the only way. What I really like about this is just all the different pouches that are in here. So what I usually have, I'll kind of just like go through it as we do this, but there's a lot of different compartments in there as far as just for different tools. There's technically 2 bottle pouches. I don't use these for bottles, but I could. There's also a loop here. There's a loop here. So this is facing forward when I have it on. This is on my right side. I have my bucket on a belt on my left side. People ask me, I'm right-handed, why do I have my bucket on my belt on my left side? That's because I work with 2 hands. I pull my sleeve with my left and my squeegee with my right. It's not good if say you're left-handed and you have your bucket about on your left and you're always pulling with your left. That's a lot of motion just for your left arm, or it's a lot of motion for your right arm. So if you put that on your left and you kind of split it up, overall, you're probably going to feel better long-term as far as some of that stuff goes. So then it has the just adjustable belt, like I was saying, just in the rings. I have found this to be the best brand as far as with this type of belt. I had a Husky a long time ago. The Husky rings were bigger. And I've also had another brand, I forget what it was, but the rings all came out very, very quick. This has been the best one that I've ever bought. I will put a link to this. I only find this at Lowe's. It used to be a different brand that I used to show, and it's the same exact thing, but I think Cobalt bottom. I don't know that for sure, but I think that's what happened. Let's go through the belt, and let me show you kind of what I do here. Let me make sure this is on this. So how I organize this. So first, now remember that this part is pointing forward, right? So I put a frame squeegee, which is like a 6-inch squeegee, right here in the front, so I can pull it easy. Then I have a bigger towel that I use for detailing. I have that in the middle pouch here. I put that there. Usually doesn't fit in that nicely. It's usually a little bit more out when I have it. Then I always have a putty knife on me for screens, for homes, but I just always have it on me. I always find that the Husky stiff ones work the best. This is a tip Jim gave me when I first started with him, and so I got to give him credit, and that's why I use it. I did use some other screen removal tools, but I have found this to be the most efficient, and it lasts the longest. I've had this probably for 2 years, and it's still good to go. I put that in this little pouch right here. Goes right there. Back here, I still have it. I always have dry steel wool. Dry steel wool I just use to like buff out little bug or little finger marks. Then in this back loop back here, so we have another loop back here, I always have my Maker Handy sleeve. And the Maker Handy sleeve, what I do, I put on a Xero fish scale towel. I found that these stick overall the best. They're not like crazy on there, but they're enough on there for detailing that I use this for all of my pole work detailing now. I never ever tie a towel on the edge of my pole anymore. So I'll put that right there. Now in the back of here, for some reason, I do not have it on me. I don't know why, but I'll usually put a track brush if I'm doing tracks, or now for commercial actually, I always put this smaller squeegee-like microfiber back here. Now what I use these for is more to clean up my mess at the bottom of frames. You know me, I always have a bath towel on me too, a small bath towel. I use that most of the time to clean up my slop mess, but then I also have this if there's an area that's too small to fit in. And I've been starting to use this a little bit more than my bath towel. I'm trying to get away from the bath towel, as stupid as that sounds. So then in front here, I always have some sort of scrubbing abrasive. So right now I have a walnut pad since bronze wool is done. So I always have that in here ready to go like that. On this front loop here, I don't use this back loop at all. There I have my Techno Pad. So I use my Techno Pad all the time on my pole or by hand just to give an extra scrub to doors, like whatever. And I put that there, okay? So that is the whole entire pouch as far as how that's configured. Then I have scraper. I use many different types of scrapers, just depending on what I like. I'll usually buy a new one every about 6 months, just because what I do. So I just bought a brand new Unger scraper. So I always like having a scraper on me. I love the 6-inch. I don't use a 4-inch. Really all about personal preference there. And of course with this one, oh man, it seems a little jammed. Well, this is supposed to bend down. I haven't bought one of these in a long time. So there you go. Supposed to bend down just like that. Definitely feels like that is not as easy as it was on the older ones. Well, that's too bad. Unger, figure that out. Oh, figuring out new. This is plastic now. It almost looks like. Okay, and so anyways, with the holster, it's really nice to have this. I've always had the scraper holster since the time that these scrapers came out. #1 scraper holster, right there. So then, we'll talk about the unicorn just a little bit as far as what I use for a bucket on a belt. I always have used the silencer for many, many years, many different renditions of it. This was like one of the first ones that I got. I even have older ones from this one. I have the old tip jar. Of course, I have my Bronco one. I actually keep this to the side now just because I like it so much. I don't use it anymore. It's just kind of like memorabilia for me. So I keep that to the side and don't use that anymore. But I just have that right on my left side of the belt. It's just buckles. I have it around the whole entire thing like so. So, but real quickly before we go off on what I use and put in there, you can put other bucket on a belts on there, right? So let's like talk about like, you know, all plastic bucket on a belts are pretty much all, like I just pretty much, I feel like the same. Some of my favorites, Unger Ninja bucket on a belt. I do like this one for what it is, or just the old school Mormon tool holder, the original. I like that. Mormon dry walker, it's a love-hate relationship between that as far as some people like it. Most people like it because it keeps the sleeve away from your body like the silencer does, so you don't get a wet leg. But it has a belt clip system like this, where you could also detach it if you want to. And that you can just put onto, just slide over. So you could have this as well as your bucket on a belt. I tried using it one day. I just can't get back to plastic bucket on a belt after using the silencer. So, but tonight you don't have to buy a silencer to have this, and silencers are super hard to get. Don't ask me in the comments about getting one. They're a unicorn. Even though we sell them at windowcleaner.com, they're just super hard to get. So anyways, let's move on. I'm just going to show you the way I organize my silencer as far as my equipment goes, so you get a good idea of that in case you ever get one. Okay, so I put, if I need it, I'll put another small squeegee. Say if I need like an 8 or I need a 6 and I need a fresh rubber for French windows, I'll put that there because I have my frame one, but that's a very used rubber. Then on the front, I always put my 18 because my 14 will go in the back. Sometimes I find if I put a 14 in the front, it could fall out when using it. So I put my 18 in the front. We'll go from the back here first. Then I'll put in, if I'm doing residential, I'll put a 14 in the back. I'll put my 18-inch sleeve here. Then I'll put my 18-inch there. And if I need another squeegee, I'll put it there. If I'm doing storefronts, I have my 14-inch flick combo tool. I have that in the back, okay? So that's how that whole configuration is. As far as with that, you could also fit an 18-inch back there. This is really best for 18-inch tools. You could fit a 22 in here. I have found that some of the tools that don't work very well is like a liquidator channel. That will clip, that will kind of hold on to the stuff at the bottom. Ninja channel, same way. If you want to use a Ninja channel, it's better to use in the back compartment, not in the front, or use the middle compartment. So you just got to test out a bunch of different tools. But that's the way that I always have that configured. And really, that's it as far as my tool belt goes. I don't put anything else on it other than that. That's really all you need. But this is just some ideas for you as what you could do with your tool belt and have it configured the way I do. As you can see, it's pretty freaking massive once you put it on your waist, but I'm very, very used to it. So I like it the way it is, but I just wanted to do this video because I get asked about it all the time. I will put the link to this tool belt because that's the biggest thing I get asked about. And I'll put links to the other things I've talked about here as well. And that's pretty much it. So that is my window cleaning tool belt 2022 update. Have a good one. Peace.